This is Mr. Potenski, and we are going through problem 1 on our 8th grade review, day 1 problem set. So the first question is, what is -7/18 as a decimal? So we need to think about a few things here. First off, um, when we're going to look at this whole idea of division. So 7/18, it is a fraction, but it's also division. It's 7 divided by 18. So which one of these long divisions are we going to do? Is this 7 divided by 18, or is this 7 divided by 18? Okay, so we have to remember that if we're dividing 7 into 18 parts, so that's another way to read a fraction or read division. Is this dividing 7 into 18 parts, or is this dividing 18 into 7 parts? So if we thought about that, we were like, well, 7 doesn't go into 1, but 7 goes into 18 two times. We already have our answer, because if we're dividing 7 by 18, we should not have anything greater than 1. So that leads us to know that we need to do this equation. The second part of this is understanding that if this is negative, our outcome, okay, this negative out front, our outcome is going to be negative. So we know we're going to have a negative answer. Okay, so we could attach that negative to this 7 or to the 18 if we wanted to there. And then it's a negative divided by a positive, which we know is going to give us a negative answer. All right, so we're doing the long division step. 7 divided by 18. So remembering that if 18 can't go into this first number, we need to put a decimal and then put a 0. So does 18 go into 70? And then how many times? So we can count on our fingers, or some of us, sometimes one method that I used to do is I used to just write out the multiples of 18. I would go 18, 18 plus 18 is 36, 36 plus 18 is 54, 54 plus 18, so add the 10, it's going to be 64, add the 8, is going to be 72, and then 18 added to that, 8 is going to be 80, so that's going to be 90, and then 108, and it could keep going. But that is a good way to start, is to write out the multiples of 18. So that can help you. So, and then you can write out that's 1 times 18, 2 times 18, 3, 4, 5, 6, and you can go through it that way. Okay, so 18 into 70. What's the biggest number of 18s that can go into 70? Well, 3. So we're going to put a 0 there, and our decimal should line up just like that. Okay, so then 3 times 18, well, we know that. That's 54. We already did that pre-work. So sometimes doing stuff ahead helps us do less work at the end. So 3 times 18 is 54. And then we're going to subtract 54 from 70. So kind of ignore that decimal. That decimal is so that we know where the decimal is in our answer. So 70 minus 54, we do this. So 10 minus 4 is 6. 6 minus 5 is 1. So this is a chance for a check. So we want to check that that is less than it needs to be less than that number right there. Okay? If it's greater than, that means we need to increase that number by 1 or more, and then try again. Okay, and then, well, we're going to carry out this 0, take down the 0, okay, and from there, we want to know how many 18s go into this. So one big fact is we know 10 times 18 is 180. So 180 minus 18 is going to be 162. So that's going to be bigger than 160. So by 2, so we can go one less than that. So we know that's going to be an 8. Okay, and we didn't get out to 8 there yet. So we can figure out that 7 times 18, and if you need to use repeated addition again. So 108 plus 18, that's going to be 118, and another 8 is 126. So that means we already said that this is going to be 162. Okay, that means halfway between that is going to be what 8 is, so we can either subtract 18 or add 18. So 18 to 126, we can add the 10 to get 136, and then add the 8 to get 144. Some of you may recognize that as being 12 squared. But 144, and then what happens from there? So we're going to subtract 144 from 160. So 10 minus 4 is 6, 5 minus 4 is 1, and we get 16 again. So we go to the 0 and 0, and you can continue doing this, but what you're going to recognize is every time you're going to follow this same thing. So it's going to continue in that same pattern. So this is when we know that we can put the bar over the number, which means that it is repeating. So the decimal expansion of -7/18 is going to be equal to negative, remember we talked about that, 0.38 repeating. And that is our answer. So that was a little bit of work, quite a bit of a review of terms and practices. But overall, not that difficult of a concept.